Hi, I'm Neil and thank you very much for joining me today for a quick review of Startups from Oink Games. This is a 3 to 7 player 20-minute stock manipulation game, one in which you want to have control of companies but not too much control because you want the other players to think they've got a chance of scoring some points. I quite like this game. I'm going to take it down to the table, show you how to play. It won't be a full rules overview, but you'll get a really good idea as to how the game's going to play. And then I'll bring you back up to give you my final thoughts. Okay, cheers.
Okay, so this is all the components you get for startups. You've got a nice deck of cards here. And what I've done is I've taken 5 out at random. All of the companies' anti-monopoly chips are placed here. These are used for when you're playing a longer game, so we're not going to worry about that. So we won't worry about that. And these are extra money, which we also don't need. So each player has been given 10 chips on the side with the 1 face up. They've also been dealt 3 cards, which they keep secret. So we're ready to go. Let me show you how to play startups. Okay, all players have got 3 cards. This is the starting player. What you're trying to do is you're trying to collect cards in your hand in secret. You can only ever hold 3 in your hand. And you're trying to collect cards in secret so that at the end of the game you can reveal them and grab some of the companies. What you don't want to do is be the only player with all cards for a company. You want the other players to have minor shares in the company whilst you have the major share. That way they pay you. So on your turn, you either take 1 card face up or 1 card from the deck. As there are no cards face up on the table, this player will take a card from here. Yeah, they don't want that one. They've decided, so they're going to place it face up to the table. It's the second player's turn. Now, they do not hold the anti-monopoly chip for this company. So if they don't want to take this card and they want to take a card face up, they have to place one of their points tokens on top of it. So they're going to place that there. Grab that. That's not ideal, is it? So they also don't want that one. So they're going to place it there. It's the end of their go. This player will now take their go. Now, if they take one of these cards, then they haven't got to pay money for going through the deck. So if they go through the deck, they're going to have to put 1 there and 1 there. But as you can see, we've got 1. So they're going to grab 1, put that there in front of them. Now, they could play a card face up, but they're going to play a card. They could play a card in front of themselves, but they're going to play another one to the market. So this player's turn. Now, this player, if he doesn't take either of these cards, it's going to cost him 2 of his chips. So that's not ideal. So he's going to pick up 1 of these cards. And then what he's going to do is he's going to show his hand really early. He's going to play the Flamingo Soft card. He's placed that in front of himself, grabs the anti-monopoly chip and puts that there. Now that has 2 effects. What that means now is this player never has to pay on top of the pink cards in the deck, revealed when they're going to go through the deck. But it also means that they cannot no longer take any more of these pink cards from the face-up cards. So let's see what happens next. This player doesn't want that one. Chuck that on there. Ah, fantastic. They're going to show their hand now. So they do that. They show their hand. Amazing. So back to the third player who's now giddy. Grabs that, more points, puts that one in their hand, plays that one face up. So we will keep on going like this until the deck runs out. So I'm just doing a quick close-up of this player's final face-up cards, and these are the cards they've got left in the hand. So when the deck runs out, what you do is you add your cards to the relevant piles, and then that will show everyone what you were collecting. Keep in mind throughout the game that the green suit, there are 9 cards. So it's written on there how many there are of each. So to have a majority, you need to have, ideally you need to have 5 and someone else having 4 or 2 other players having 4. So for Bow Wow Games, there's 6 cards in the deck, then there's 5 of that, 10 of that, 7 of that, and 8 of that. So let me take you to show you the final game scoring. Okay, so this is the game finished. We can now ignore the anti-monopoly chips, and we can also ignore any cards and money that are left over in the middle. So they're all out now. So all we're concentrating on is the amount of shares that each company has in each company. So what we're going to do is we'll evaluate each colour one at a time and see who has the majority. So if we take the red suit, this player over here has 4 of the shares. This player only has 3, this player has none. So this player wins the red suit. So for each share, the minor majority holdings, or the minor holdings company has, they will have to pay one of their 1 chips turned over to the free value. So 3 red cards, 3 gold chips to them. Then we remove the red cards from the game. We no longer need to worry about them. So we will do that for each suit. So for example, the pink suit, this person has the majority. This is the only one with a minority. They take one of their 1s and pay it like that. So that's that one done. Then we'll take the blue suit. This player has 3, this player has 2, this player has 1. So this player must pay them 2. This player must pay them 1. And then we are done for the blue suits. Okay, if we look at the brown suits, the Octo Coffee, each player has 2 of each. So no one has the majority, no one is awarded any points. For this one, this is the only player with the giraffe beer. No one else pays them any minor holdings, they win no points for that one. And finally, for this one, this player has to pay 1, this player has to pay 2. And then that's that one done. So then what we do is we look at how many points each player has got. So the third player would win in that example. If in the event of a tie, you would check to see who had the most free chips, that player would win. So that's how you play the game as a single one-off game. You can play with using these tokens, which will allow you to play numerous games. You can play 4 games. So this would be awarded to the player in first place. This would be awarded to the player in second place. And this would be awarded to the player in last place. You play over 4 rounds. The person with the most points over 4 rounds wins. Okay, so in terms of rules, there's a lot of information on this very handy pull-out sheet. But it's only one side because this is the Japanese side, so that's fine. And the examples are good. And to be fair, I found this okay. I guess if you've played a lot of kind of market manipulation games, you'll understand some of the basic concepts of anti-monopoly and so on and so forth. But I found this all right. The chips are lovely quality, really nice printed. They look gorgeous on the table. The cards are very, very good quality. They're woven cards, and this is not showing any signs of wear and tear despite numerous shuffles. Once again, Oink Games really do knock it out of the park in terms of their production for such a small game. So let me take you back up top for my final thoughts.
Okay, so I hope that rules overview and the look at the components and how the game plays gives you a nice feel for startups from Oink Games. This is a pretty special little game. It says 3 to 7 players on the box. I'm just going to get this out of the way now. I'm going to talk about the player count. At 3 and 4 players, maybe even 5, this is a great game. At 6 and 7, chaos ensues, and it becomes much more about luck than any kind of strategy. I don't mind it at 6 or 7, but for me, the ideal player count for this game is 4 players, because all of the players will think they've got a chance at the different companies and will be vying for it. You've got your card of hands, your 3 cards that you're going to reveal at the end of the game. You're going to whack them down, add them to the companies, and hopefully you will do what you need to do to win the game. So for me, this is a 4-player game which plays okay at 3 and 5 and a bit mad at 6 and 7. I'll still play it at 6 and 7, but just be prepared for a very crazy experience. I think this game is primarily for pretty au fait gamers. They're pretty good at understanding the concepts of quite a few different things, like the market manipulation, the anti-monopoly chips, so on and so forth. So this wasn't a light game. You can teach this to families and so on and so forth, but I'd say this is more designed for people who are used to playing games quite regularly. In terms of value for money, once again, this was £15, like most Oink games, round about that 15 to 20, but this was £15, and it is fantastic value for money. The components, the card quality, everything about this game screams luxury. It's a really, really good game in terms of that. Length of play, so if you play 1 round, 20 minutes, great, fantastic. I'm not so keen on the playing over 4 rounds and accumulating your score. It takes quite a while, and I feel that the game might drag a little bit. So for me, I prefer to play the single round, maybe even 2 if people are getting used to it. I'm not so keen on playing the full 4 rounds. It turns what is a nice filler type game into quite a long experience. And don't get me wrong, I'll always do it, but I'd prefer to stick with the shorter version of the game. So what I really like about this game is how you are trying to hold in your hand the cards that you think are going to help you win at the end. You don't want to reveal cards too early on because you know it's going to cost you. But you can only have 3 cards in your hand, so it's really, really, really clever. You're looking at what's going out in the general market display and you're like umming and ahhing. Sometimes you've got to start paying your coins into the market. You really don't want to do that. And if there's 3 cards in the market you don't want, you've got to put a coin on each, so it could start really, really costing you. And other people are going to just start grabbing those cards, and it's really clever, the give and take of this game, the ebb and the flow of how you're manipulating your hand as well as what the cards that are placed in front of you. The anti-monopoly chips are a fantastic addition. They basically stop you from being able to collect the cards which you already have control of from the market, and that's such a clever little touch that really elevates the game to the next level. It also means that you haven't got to pay for not taking those cards from the middle, which is really good as well. I've seen players win by revealing really early on what cards they're going to go for and just setting all out for it. I've also seen players win by holding off, and then revealing close towards the end, which is a really nice thing. There are different strategies to go for. And the passing of the money, turning over the coins to the free at the end is really, really fun. And it's always quite exciting. Who's got the most money? Who's got the most money? So yeah, it's a really, really fun game. Very little negative to say about the game. As I say, I wouldn't bother with playing it over 4 rounds. I'd just play the one and done. For me, that's where the fun's at. And if you enjoy it, just play it again as a one and done. So yeah, in terms of my ratings, if you've got a regular group, 3 or 4 of you that can play, I would say this is a bite if you see it. Obviously, if you're playing 2 players, don't even bother with this game because you can't play 2 players. There's no point worrying about it. But if you've got a regular group that you can meet up and play 3 or 4 players, this is a bite if you see it. In terms of my BGG rating, I give this an 8 out of 10. I think this is a very, very good game. I really, really like it. So yeah, that was my review for Startups. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you on the next one. Okay, cheers!